like to call the meeting to order and welcome everybody to the Laverne Planning Commission, October 25th, 2022 regular meeting at 6 p.m. We do have a quorum. Our first item of business is to approve the meeting minutes from September 27th, 2022 regular meeting.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor? We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. First item of business, recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for subdivision acceptance. Lieutenant Frank Walkup, Phase 1 and 2, property located off Jones Mill Road, requested by Wamble and Associates, R1 Low Density Residential Zoning District. Mr. Logan.
Thank you. So staff has been looking at items 1 and 2 today, and due to the applicant's inability to meet the city's standards, they haven't been able to complete what they're supposed to complete for these subdivisions. So this would be probably the 4th month, maybe the 3rd, that they've been on this agenda. So staff's recommendation would be to make a motion to withdraw these and take them off the agenda. Then at such time that they complete their end, they can resubmit to the Planning Commission.
Very good, sir. Do we have any questions for Mr. Logan on this item? No questions. We'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to withdraw items 1 and 2.
We have a motion to withdraw items 1 and item number 2. We have a second? We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Just for the record, we're going to read item number 2. Recommendation. Item number 2 was recommendation to the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for subdivision acceptance, Minerva Village Phase 1, property located off Hollandale Ridge Road, requested by Wamble and Associates, R3 High Density Residential Zoning District, which motion to withdraw passed. And item number 3 is deferred, Mr. Logan.
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And so we're going to item number 4. Site plan, Palm Commodities, new building addition totaling 5,400 square feet on 4.11 acres, requested by CIA LLC, property located at 1289 Bridgestone Parkway, tax map 17, parcel 28.04, I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District, property owned by Fiji Strategic Realty Investors LLC. Mr. Logan.
Thank you. This is a site plan request for approval for the Palm Commodities building, and this building is located at 1289 Bridgestone Parkway. And you can see here on the screen that this area outlined in blue. Of course, this lot has double frontage. It fronts Howell Quaker as well as Bridgestone Parkway. Closer look here shows the building along with the 2 roadways. They do have parking, employee parking off the Howell Quaker side. And site plan for this passed last month, which was to make some parking improvements. So that site plan did pass in September. And the other site plan was for a building addition on this southwestern side of the building. And this building addition is 5,400 square feet. And that's being added to the existing facility, which is approximately 62,800 square feet. This site is not in an overlay district. The zoning here, you can see a large area of I-2 heavy industrial zoning. So this parcel that's roughly shaped like a rectangle is the subject property. And these pictures are of the building that's existing. And shows the site with the existing employee parking. And then this is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. And they have taken care of all of their issues from the workshop 2 weeks ago. There really were not a lot of staff comments at that workshop. They had taken care of most of the items. And that completes the report. I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Mr. Logan or the applicant?
No, I just want to confirm I'm looking at on C2.00. Looks like both entrances are 40 feet. Is Is that correct for staff?
That is, yes.
Okay, wonderful. That's good to see. I know that's the standard that we try to use, so that's good.
That makes a motion, with everything been addressed, make a motion to accept as submitted, Mr. Chairman.
We have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Item number 5 has deferred as well, correct, Mr. Logan?
Yes, sir, they have withdrawn.
Withdrawn. Thank you, sir. And item number 6 is deferred.
That's correct.
On to item number 7. Site plan, Blair Ridge Phase 1, 2, and 3, townhome development totaling 141 dwelling units and 26 two-story buildings on 15.8 acres. Requested by SEC Inc., property located at 1289 Blair Road, tax map 29, PO parcel 21.01, R3 High Density Residential Zoning District, property owned by 303B Partners. Mr. Logan.
This is a request for site plan approval at the Blair Ridge Townhome Development. This is phases 1, 2, and 3. So you can see this property here on the screen. It's on the north side of Blair Road, next to the High Point 24 site that's currently under construction. It's also neighboring the existing Van Winkle mobile home park. So you can see the property, it does have an existing home on the property that you'll see in the photos here in a few moments. So this is the property that's outlined in blue, again on the north side of Blair Road. So these photos are taken from the curve roughly where the ingress egress would be for this new townhome development. So on the hill here in this photo is that's building 1 of the High Point 24 development. So there is a stand of trees that are mature that separates these two properties, and you can see that in the photos. This is a driveway looking back toward the northwest, and this driveway leads up to that existing home that's been on the property for some time, and you can sort of see it there in the distance. Again, this is the curve that would be improved, or at least it would be softened with this development as it proceeds. So this slide shows the master plan of the whole development, and this is a total of 141 townhomes. And I didn't mention, but across the road is also under construction, which is Portico Place, and that's all single-family homes that are being constructed. So that's the other neighbor across the road. So these are the site plan sheets that are in your packets, but basically they're giving you a closer look here of the development. So this is the first breakout of this site plan, and you can see the arrangement of the streets and also all the units. And then the second slide is the remaining, or the second breakout, and this is the match line to match the two parts of the site together. And this property also had just 2 weeks ago at the workshop, and just a few technical comments, and those have also been addressed. So that completes the report. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Do we have any questions or comments?
Yes, sir, I've got some questions for the applicant.
Will the applicant please come to the podium, state your name and address for the record, sir?
Matt Taylor of SEC, 850 Middle Tennessee Boulevard.
Thank you, sir.
I can see, it looks like a little picnic area was added,
Yes, sir.
but I wanted to ask about the trash compactor.
That was supposed to be removed. Is it still showing on your plan set?
Yes, sir, I'm looking at C0.3, and it's there, and I believe it's on point 2 as well. It still shows as being there.
We can get that taken off. Maybe they printed the wrong set, but it was supposed to be taken off. We were gonna do the carts instead. That's what I worked out with my client.
And that's what it looks like on here, so that's why I was confused and wanted clarification, because it looks like there's an area marked out with what looks like black carts all over, but then you also have the
Yes.
trash compactor.
Yes, sir. That's the intention, is the carts, so we'll get the compactor taken off. I apologize.
And the mail kiosk, is that the one in the middle for the whole development?
Yes, sir.
So, well, Mr. Chairman, that was it.
I have a quick question.
Please, Ms. Saunders.
I know in the last meeting, we talked about an HOA for the property.
Yes, ma'am.
Would you be open to adding verbiage to your CCRs to limit the number of units that can be owned by rental companies and/or rented out? I know that's a big thing right now.
I would have to ask my client about that. We've not gotten into writing the CCRs yet, to my knowledge.
Because I know there's been an instance here in Laverne where a company came in and bought the whole development to make it a rental
Okay.
community. So that's why I asked. I know our HOA is looking into it,
Okay.
changing our CCRs to
I'll certainly talk to my client and
percentage.
see what we can do there.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or comments? None. With this being its site plan, with the compactor being on there, it can come off at final, correct? Mr. Brown?
I mean, if he's willing to remove it, we'll just look at it as being removed.
Very good. With that, we'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to accept, submitted.
Motion to accept is submitted.
Yeah, with the,
With the understanding of the final comes back, the trash compactor will be removed.
Very good.
I will second that.
A motion
Well,
to, please.
So to accept submitted removal of the trash compactor and qualifications from the applicant for the CCRs.
Which would come out in final.
Discussion, would that not go against us not allowing,
This is a site plan, not the final.
okay, that's fine.
Thinking contingencies. Yeah, our second still.
So we have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, everyone. Next item. Site plan, Middle Tennessee Electric Membership Corporation, Laverne Electrical Substation on 3.49 acres, requested by Ragan Smith and Associates. Property located at New Sanford Road and Industrial Boulevard, tax map 29, parcel 14, C2 Highway Service Commercial Zoning District, property owned by Middle Tennessee Electric Membership Corporation. Mr. Logan.
So this is the request for site plan approval for the substation by Middle Tennessee Electric Membership Corporation. And this is the new Laverne substation that would be built on Industrial Boulevard and New Sanford Road there at the corner. So you can see the property here outlined in blue. And there's a closer look at this property. It is currently vacant, and I'm sure it was mentioned 2 weeks ago that this is the neighbor to the BJ's Wholesale that's currently under development in the city. So this property is about 3.5 acres, roughly. And you can see there on the zoning, it is zoned commercial C2, and the red color signifies the C2 zoning. So it is the same zoning as the BJ's Wholesale store. And this lot is not contained in the overlay district. So you can see here the frontage. This is looking toward New Sanford Road, and the substation property is on the right. They're right at, or right before you get to the traffic signal at New Sanford and Industrial. So this is what they submitted for the workshop. that you saw 2 weeks ago. It's not vastly different, but they did submit this new one, which is on the screen now. And this is zooming into that latest plan they submitted. So you can see it's not vastly different from earlier in the month, but the detention pond's in the same place. They have noted that this screening wall would be 10 feet tall, and they're showing it now better on the perimeter. But the electric transformers and the electrical equipment, of course, is still showing the same, as is the retaining walls. And I guess that's it. There weren't many comments on this one at the workshop, so everything there was addressed, and that completes the report. Thanks.
Thanks, sir. Do we have any questions or comments? Mayor Cole?
Mr. Chair, I do for the applicant.
Will the applicant please come to the podium? State your name and address for the record, sir.
Eric Parle with Ragan Smith, 315 Woodland Street, Nashville, Tennessee.
First off, can you confirm the selection y'all have for the wall for us?
Yeah, it was provided on the detail sheets. That was, I think, wall exhibit number 3 that was voted on in the workshop meeting.
Yeah, the one that was discussed?
Yep.
Okay, so it
Yep.
is number 3.
Yeah, and
And
that
then,
image is on the detail sheet.
The other thing is, can you explain what has changed for landscaping? I know we discussed more screening, but can you just kind of explain that?
Yeah, I believe you wanted additional screening and landscaping on the east side, the right side of the plan view to screen more on BJ's side, so we provided more along that wall.
Okay, so it's more trees or bushes or?
Yeah, exactly. It was similar to what we had, we just extended it the full length of that wall.
Any other questions or comments? No? Sir?
No, I mean, he just explained the question we had, and he's answered it when he's put the beautification as requested.
I'll make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
Second?
We have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 9, final plat, Pride Truck Sales, Waldron Road Business Park Subdivision, re-subdivision of Lot 1, 2 lots on 13.8 acres, requested by SEC Inc., property located at 171 Industrial Boulevard, tax map 17O, Group B, PO Parcel 5, I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District, property owned by 131 Industrial Boulevard Holding Corp. Mr. Logan.
Thank you. This is the final plat request for approval at the Pride Truck Sales location on Waldron Road and, or excuse me, at 171 Industrial Boulevard, but it's just off of Waldron Road. And you can see the property here. It's roughly the shape of a backward C. Here you can see the pilot station is right off of Industrial that sort of fills up the middle here, but this property is 13.1 acres approximately, and closer view shows this site. So the plan for the parking improvements that was presented a month ago and the month before that, they have withdrawn that at least until such time as they can find an architect to help with the exterior cladding. So the site plan has been withdrawn, but this plat has stayed on the agenda for the property. See the zoning here. Again, this is the dark blue, which is I-2 heavy industrial. And these are just photos from the site. That's the existing building there with that green roof, 2-story building. And of course, a lot of the trucks there that are on site that are for sale or lease. So this is the plat that was submitted for this item, and they have fulfilled all of the staff's technical comments, and there's not anything left outstanding from the workshop. So I think that will complete the report unless Mr. Brown has anything to add. Thank you.
Thank you. Anything, Mr. Brown?
No, everything's good.
Thank you, sir. Is the applicant here for this project? Name and address for the record, kind sir.
Matt Taylor of SEC 850 Middle Tennessee Boulevard.
Thank you, sir. I think the only question I remember from workshop was the 1 and the 3 on the lots.
Yes, sir. So there is already a lot 2. I think it's to the east of us, if I remember correctly, but we did look into that. So this was a lot 1 of that plat, so we skipped over 2 because it already existed.
Very good.
I just had just a very basic question, so just to make sure I'm understanding this right, bless
Thank you,
you.
sir.
Lot 3 is basically that whole front building and the front parking lot.
Yes, sir.
Lot 1 is essentially everything else, is that fair to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, that's what I just wanted to make sure of. I don't have any other questions.
So where is lot 2? Just explain that, because it's a busy.
I believe it was to the east. I went back the next day and we pulled it up. I think it was to the east, if I'm not mistaken, Aldermen. But it was originally part of a larger subdivision, and so I believe it's to the east, though.
What's the next one? East.
Yes.
Gotcha. Any other questions?
I make a motion to submit, to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept as submitted by Mayor Cole,
I'll second.
second by Alderman Coates. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. Next item. Amend the site plan, High Point 24, create overall phasing plan for Lot 1 requested by Kimley Horn. Property located on Blair Road, tax map 29, parcel 20.06, I-2 Heavy Industrial Zoning District. Property owned by High Point 24, Phase 1 LLC. Mr. Logan.
So this is the request for High Point 24 to amend their site plan. So the reason this is an amendment, this site plan got approved about 18 months ago. It was April of 2021, so right at a year and a half ago. And at that time, that site plan that was approved by the Planning Commission did not have any phasing shown, probably because they may have not realized at the time or even thought down the road about how these buildings would receive a CO. So the purpose then, coming back later, is that this, if you've been out there, and I know in my photos, there's several buildings that are basically ready to be occupied, and they're not able to get COs for multiple buildings on Lot 1, because as the site plan was approved, it's a very large lot. I'm just gonna jump ahead. Well, these are the pictures. You probably saw these 2 weeks ago, but, so yeah, these buildings are constructed and almost, some of them are close to 100% finished. They've just, we went out there last week and developed a checklist for the buildings, but essentially what they're trying to do, so this is the latest that they submitted. So this is actually what's in your packet. So Lot 1, you probably remember, so this is Blair Road at the bottom of the screen, and Lot 1 is a really irregular lot that extends all the way to I-24 and then parallels 24, then wraps back around on the north side. So it's just an odd-shaped lot, and that happens sometimes. But the issue is that they had 4 buildings on one lot, and the COs could not be issued in that manner. So what this amendment does is it takes the entire Lot 1 and puts it into phases. So you'll have Lot 1, Phase 1, Lot 1, Phase 2, Lot 1, Phase 3, and Lot 1, Phase 4. So 1 and 2, now that you've got an idea of that, I'll go back and show. So this is Building 1. So we're on Blair Road here. So that's the building that sits up high on the hill. So that's Building 1. So that would be Lot 1, Phase 1 in the plans that you have in your packet. And then as you drive in, this building is building 2, so that would be lot 1, phase 2, and so on and so forth. So that's how this became an item, and that's how this became on the agenda the way it did. This is the zoning map. I didn't go over this, but of course it's all zoned I-2. And this, too, this image shows how Lot 1 is shaped, again, with its irregular lines. Other than that, that's the change. It's not an engineering change to the site plan or an architectural change. It's just the phasing plan. And so that's the amendment, and I'll be happy to answer any questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Logan. So with the phasing plan, they'll have to come back for us for approval for each phase? Is that correct?
Let me see. So,
Phase acceptance, rather?
No, this would
No.
just basically be, if you approve this, then we will know at the building codes that when he asks for a CO for or building 100, which is lot 1, phase 1, we will go out and what's in the shaded area, we'll make sure all that is completed on the site plan. And then whenever he gets ready for building 200, that'll be lot 1, phase 2. When he does building 300 and so forth. And as of right now, he's ready for building 100 and 200. So basically, lot 1, phase 1 and lot 1, phase 2 is pretty much done.
Very good. Any other questions? Anyone? Thank you for the answer.
Make a motion to accept as submitted.
We have a motion to accept as submitted. Do we have a second?
A second.
We have a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes. On to our next item. Item number 11, bonds, letters of credit update, sir. Mr. Brown.
Everyone should have the updated bond list in front of them. Everything is up to date. We did take a few of the maintenance bonds off because they were past the year period, and those, or a few of them were cash bonds, so those have been given back to the developer. Pretty much, if anybody's got any questions, we can go over them. If not, then that's about it on that item.
No, sir, you've done a good job with it. Thank you. And our next item, item number 12, discussion, new zoning ordinance and subdivision regulations. Mr. Brown, Mr. Logan? Who wants to take this?
I can take it. I don't have any real new information to add. I know some of you all saw the emails, I guess they were from last week. So, of course, there's a property owner area of town that is asking about their zoning. And so, I was out of town 2 weeks ago, so I don't really know what the discussion was about it at that time. But, of course, anybody that emails me, that individual asked me to share it with all of you all, so I did. I'm happy to do that. And I did invite that individual to the meeting. I don't know if they're here or not. Of course, they're not guaranteed that they can speak, but they're all welcome at any meeting, anytime, so I did invite them and said that would at least put them in the same room with the decision makers, although they may or may not be able to speak at the podium, depending on if the rules were suspended, whatnot. So that's all I have. I don't have structurally anything new to change or to add. I would say if there's some grammatical errors or a period missing, or I know maybe just a couple people have expressed that. That's something that could be cleaned up after this body is finished with it, and in between the time it goes to that time and the time it appears at BOMA.
Very good. Thank you, sir. So let's, with it being a discussion, let's have a discussion amongst ourselves in regards to the emails that were received. And is that something we can technically do? Okay, very good.
You can.
So, Ms. Sanders, if you'd like to start, we'll just go down the
I've
line.
got a couple pages of things that I wanted to go over. I went back through and read word for word the whole document again. I did mark quite a few things that we can take care of. I had a few concerns. There's still things used in the document. This may be something Evan mentioned that can be changed regardless, but the way they refer to Laverne Planning Department, Ordinance Administrator, Planning Director, things that we don't use the same terms here unless we're thinking of changing those positions and names of those buildings, Design Review Board, things like that. Did anyone else notice that?
I know, I remember it was in there, and we've discussed it a couple times, but yeah.
Right. And I thought that was supposed to be removed before we even got this one. I know this is a draft, but it's already marked that it's been approved by both BOMA and Planning Commission in April. Some of the other issues or questions that I had was on several pages, page 6, 7, then again on 84, it talks about compact developments, and it actually describes our traditional neighborhoods as being compact mixed use. We don't even have mixed use in all of our neighborhood zoning, so to me, that's kind of a conflict that it's being referenced that way.
And that, I believe that was some of the paperwork that I had turned into Mr. Logan, was that the description and the chart didn't match. I think that's what you're noticing.
Yeah, and just the fact that they're describing in multiple areas that our goal, because I think this was in our planning principles, is we wanted compact neighborhoods with open space. I don't know, to me, that doesn't fit what we're trying to accomplish. So I would certainly like to see that removed as a description. The estate residential has a 25-foot setback, but even R1 has 40. So I wasn't quite sure why, I don't remember us discussing it being 25 when you have that large of an area. I would think you would want it put back even further. On page 165 for bed and breakfast, it references that the owner or manager has to reside there. I thought we had discussed that the owner had to reside there, so I would like to see manager taken out, so it matches home businesses where the owner, like live-work, the owner has to live in that live-work unit. So to me, I think manager should be stricken from multiple bullet points under bed and breakfast. I also thought we did away with signs in residential areas, and it has, I think, up to a 6-foot sign. And then we left out, we had discussed that meals could only be served to the guests that were staying there, and that's not in the description in here. On page 167, carnivals are allowed in the commercial, or the central commercial district, as well as the civic institutional district, and the hours are listed from 9 a.m. to 12 a.m., but group homes and independent living facilities are allowed in those areas as well, so I would think being able to stay open until midnight might be disturbing to those two particular entities. Maybe we should adjust those hours, at least if it's Monday through Friday, what might be considered work or school type hours. On page 173, where they go through home occupation, the last blurb, it almost is like something's missing. It says and then there's nothing else. That could just be a typo. I couldn't recall any other items that we wanted added to it, but I didn't know if maybe someone else had wanted something added and it didn't go in. Then on 191, page 191, we talk about wrought iron fencing. Is the only type of fencing allowed in the overlay districts. So my question is, some of the overlay districts have some estate residential. If they want to put a fence up, is that saying that all they could do, would that also apply to homes? So they couldn't have any kind of privacy fencing if they wanted it?
It'd be wrought iron fencing per the overlay.
Yeah, that's not a privacy fence though. There wouldn't be a way to make that a privacy fence, like if they had a swimming pool or something like that.
Randolph, how does fencing with swimming pools work?
4 foot tall. And obviously, if you're looking at like wrought iron, you want to make it so that you can't pass through I guess, so to speak, between in the fencing itself, but, I mean, a lot of pools you'll see are wrapped in wrought iron. So, you know, they're chain link, they're wooden privacy fence, they're vinyl privacy fence, they're all kinds of fences. So the only thing that is particular about the pool is the height. 4-foot barrier.
It's just a really expensive fencing, so to put that on a resident, I thought that was a little extreme. On page 196, vinyl siding is allowed for live work, but nothing else. I don't remember us discussing that. I wouldn't think it should be allowed for live work if it's not allowed for the other types of structures. On page 198, common entrances, interior corridors for apartments and condos is part of the definition. I know that was brought up by Mr. Rutledge as safety issue. I know there's been stories on the news about it being safety issues in some areas, and we have it listed as being part of our definition. So I would like to see it removed from the definition. If someone wants to request that, we can review it, but for it to be part of the definition, to me, seems like we're encouraging people to construct their buildings that way. So those are the big items I had. The other things I've got marked in here that are just, you know, spacing, typographical, that kind of thing.
I myself had turned in several items, some of which you mentioned to Mr. Logan, and I really haven't received an updated one yet since then. I'm sorry, I rephrased that. I have not received it in paper. I have read it on the computer, but there were still some discrepancies that I did see along the way. Mayor Cole, any statements? Alderman?
No, I appreciate all the comments. I mean, I think we need to keep working it forward to get it where it needs to be. I mean, get it where everyone on this board is pleased with it and can accept it and move forward with it.
Mr. Campbell?
Yeah, just the typographicals and just the different things she brought up.
So board as a whole, should we ask for, we can either have a long workshop or we can have one more special meeting where we can dedicate to this hard. How does everybody feel in regards to that?
Good either way.
I'm fine with the workshop.
I'm torn on the work. I think we possibly got more done in the special meetings than we can a workshop because our minds were able to focus directly on that, but we're all different. Alderman?
My comment would be is if you want to do special, I'm okay with that. Let's concentrate on this and get this thing together where it needs to be and get this thing put to bed.
As well, agreed. Sir?
Yeah, special workshop.
We'll go for one more special workshop and see if we can't get our I's dotted and our T's crossed, and we'll be in good shape.
Looking at the 15th or the 22nd, if you're looking at Tuesdays.
For December, November? For November?
Now, mind you, the 22nd is right before Thanksgiving.
And the 15th is our workshop, regular workshop for planning commission.
Oh, it is. Oh, then we
Yeah.
have the 8th as well, then, don't we?
So,
That's board member.
Oh, no, that's election day.
yeah. Election day.
You want to leave with Bo to find out and figure a date that's going to work for not interfering with anything else?
Does Melissa need to be present?
That's up to you all.
I would
I
appreciate
didn't
it.
know
Up
if
to you
she,
I don't know.
I personally would appreciate it. Anyone else?
I think we need to get this pushed through, and
Yes.
we've been dragging on. Let's get everyone together and get this thing, go through it, and then let everyone mark up what we need to do, and then we get a final draft quote put together.
Very good.
The first was not a date, but if Melissa's coming, I doubt, is that a week from today?
Yeah, if the first.
So I doubt, she might be able to. Are y'all open the first?
We also have the 14th, 21st as well, which are Mondays. I don't see anything on my calendar.
I think with the changes already that Ms. Sanders has brought up, we definitely don't need to do it the first. I mean, we need to,
Yeah, I mean, it won't be ready the first.
no.
I was
are you talking about this Thursday?
Tuesday the first, the day after
It'll be
Halloween,
next week.
A week from
a
today.
week from tonight.
That'd be for a
Okay.
special meeting.
Yeah, that's, we don't.
We wouldn't have time to get the
advertise that.
changes made and then get back to y'all to review again, and
We don't have the legal requirements to advertise that either, so the first would not be an option.
Okay, and let me back up on that, because I don't have all the changes anyway. This is new, some new information for staff.
And we need to get
I'm-
information to you.
I just need page number, because what I'm doing is sending it to her in Knoxville or Jefferson City. So I can't make the changes. So that meeting in September, when I stood at the podium, and I think there were 41 changes, that was all sent to her, and then she turns it around and sends it back to us, and then we email you that PDF.
Right.
So I just need a list of, can you scan that and email it to me and Jake? Of your changes?
I will give you my list. I just need to give you this because
Okay,
there's probably a change on 75% of the pages as far as
okay.
typos or spacing or that kind of thing.
Is that the most recent PDF?
That's one, it's the most recent one I received, so I assume it is the most recent one.
You should have a newer version in email.
From when?
What,
That was
2
sent
weeks
out
ago, 3
a
weeks
couple
ago?
weeks ago.
That's it.
Okay, this is it? Okay,
Yes.
okay. Okay, very good. All right, so, Mr.
I'll
Logan?
get that, and then compile the list and give it to her.
I know she's working on it, because she emailed me today, about needing some additional information.
Okay.
And so, Mr. Logan, if you'll coordinate with Ms. Melissa and try and get us a date set for a special meeting.
That's 14th of November, and what was the second date?
Mayor?
14th or the 21st, it just depends on, let me see what the calendar, I don't see anything on my on my phone's city calendar, but you just have a quick look at the website to see what is on each of those. There's a library board meeting, it looks like on the 14th at 5, but that would be over at 6, I would think. And then the 21st would
21st is
be out.
great.
There's the senior citizens, Parks and Rec and Greenway
Correct.
meetings on the 21st. So probably the 14th or the 22nd.
Okay, 14th or 22nd. Okay, we'll try for one of those dates.
If you can work through that and get back with us,
Yeah.
will be greatly appreciated.
If not, we'll circle around for next month or do a long workshop.
Or, there you go.
But before we do anything with this item, because Mr. Eady had reached out to me and asked me to make a motion to suspend the rules so that his son could speak, I'm gonna formally do that based on his request.
Absolutely. So,
Second.
we have a motion for Mr. Eady's son,
Ryan, Mr. Ryan Eady.
for Mr. Ryan Eady to speak at the podium to suspend the rules of the planning commission,
It's just a motion to suspend the rules.
and seconded by the mayor. All in favor, say aye.
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 All opposed? Mr. Ryan, if you would please be so kind. Thank you, sir. So name and address for the record, if you don't mind.
It's Ryan Eady, 7905 Burleson Lane in Murfreesboro. Thank you for giving me a time to speak here.
Thank you, sir.
Just got a quick statement that I want to make about some property that we own. This property is 6.5 acres at the backside of the Vaughnwood subdivision at the end of Stones River Road. That land is landlocked, so to speak. We have an easement of approximately 1,250 feet going through 2 other properties to get to Stones River Road. The zoning is currently R2. I've seen pictures of that zoning being changed to the new zoning estate. So that really affects that value of our property back there. We would have 5 lots at most if the zoning was changed. Have about a half a mile of streets just to get back there to service those 5 houses. Expense would be great with the decreased value of the property that's back there. The property is currently surrounded on 2 sides by development that has 4 houses per acre approximately. I don't know that anybody would want to purchase that property. It's an investment property. If somebody wanted to purchase that, or if we decided to develop it, we'd want to put a house next to high-density residential area like it's currently there. And also, you know, if it's changed to the 1 acre, you know, the city will lose as far as taxes coming off of that amount of property, more houses. So we're asking that that be removed from the estate back to the R2, which is currently is zoned now. I have, may I?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Just make sure our staff gets one for the record.
Thank you, Rob.
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
The X is the property that we own on the backside of the Vaughnwood subdivision. I've drawn a line in showing the approximate location of the easement that's coming up off of Stones River Road. And you can see that it's surrounded pretty much on 3 sides there by Lake Forest Estates, I guess is what that's called. So we're wanting to keep that property as it's currently zoned R2 instead of it being changed to the estate that is proposed.
Very good. Do we have any questions or comments? So I'm gonna have a question for staff.
Okay.
This is zoned R2, because I believe our email said different.
My understanding is zoned R1.
That's what I say, I think it's R1.
It's currently R1.
Okay, I'll looked it up and it was
R2.
R2.
Whenever I'm looking at the city's website, which is not up to date fully, I know that, but it does show that as R2.
Okay.
That's where I got my
so-
information
Okay,
from.
thank you.
Sure.
We just want to lock that down that it is R2. I was under the impression that it was a different zoning. Our R2 is a little bit more easier to work with at times for us, so. Myself, as a plan commissioner, once I received your email, we have a sunshine law that we cannot talk amongst each other
Sure.
in regards to the property, but I did go to staff. Mr. Brown was kind enough to meet with me,
Okay.
and we discussed it for probably 30 minutes in the hallway, and we'll proceed forward accordingly.
Okay.
So we are listening and we are hearing you, so just
Thank
bear
you,
with
that's
us.
all we ask.
Please keep in touch with Mr. Logan,
Okay,
so that if we have a special workshop, which we just discussed, that you and your father can be there.
sure.
And we will happily take any input from you, and you can know firsthand what's going on with your property, not only just for yourself, but any citizen is welcome to participate and give us input.
Okay.
So, but thank you very much. That is
Thank you for your
exactly
time.
what we
Appreciate you.
needed. Thank you. So we will carry that discussion on to workshop.
We need to move back into regular rules. You don't have a vote. You just say we're gonna go back into regular rules.
Oh, okay. So we're going back to our regular meeting rules and suspending it so the customer could speak with us. Thank you very much once again. If there's any questions or comments from the board? Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.